Guitar friend, question. Do you use a pick? Are you comfortable using a pick? Could you be playing something like this? Just sort of really lightly plucking some arpeggios of triads? Or are you like, get out of here pick, I'm all about the finger style. Just thumb and fingertips, doing the finger picking patterns. Either way is great by me, but what if you could have the best of both worlds? You could have it all. You've got some of the picking, that accuracy, the clarity of the tone. And then you could also spell things out by using your fingertips. That's what we're talking about today. It's hybrid picking. It's just what it sounds like. You may have done a bit of it. I want to give you an introduction to it. Make sure you're doing it the right way. Let's dive into it, my friend. We've got a guided workout for you. Grab your guitar, hybrid picking, here we go. This video is sponsored by Gator Cases. Guitarists, like any other musician, value the advantages of proper protection for their gear and arriving in their destination city with one guitar and not two pieces of one guitar. Guitars, amps, effects, and accessories all need safe transport and storage. Luckily, Gator's got you covered. Okay, the timer's gonna start right now. Let's jump in with something even simpler than what I was doing there, just using C major. Play it with me if you would to an A minor. Cowboy chords are great here. We'll evolve it, so check it out. If you got your pick, use your pick and just strum. If you're not using a pick, you would be maybe doing like a thumb strum, or you might be doing a finger picking pattern. That's all good. But for today, if you work with me on this, let's hold a pick. First of all, you want to make sure you're holding the pick the right way. Don't have your index finger pointing the direction of the point of the pick. That's very awkward. It's going to tire your hand out. So if you're not familiar with how to hold a pick, there you go. There's your quick lesson. Rest it on the side of your index finger and then you curl your fingers there. So all of your fingers are curled in a relaxed sort of loose fist right here, and the thumb is over the side there. Boom, that's your first win of the day. Just strum through. And what we're going to do is add to each of these chords a very simple fill, which is very satisfying. This is where hybrid picking is going to shine. But for right now, we'll just strum this C, and then we're going to go here, playing those 6. Then we play the open A minor, and then that little fill right there. So that's our pattern. We're strumming. Now, when you do it with just the pick, you're going to have to be skipping over a string in the middle, which isn't the end of the world. It's not the hardest thing to do. But what if we get into this style here where we do the strum, and now we're doing thumb and then finger bouncing back and forth. This gets into what will be our first thing that we're learning, which is the alternating way of hybrid picking. And it's just what it sounds like. You've got your thumb and your index finger working together, and we'll pause it right there. So this idea, I'll go even further into this mega hand cam here. So check this out. Watch the picking hand here. When I'm doing the alternating, the thumb and the index finger are working together in the same way that if you didn't have the pick, it would just be the thumb, right? So if I went like this with just finger style, I would be doing that. I would probably do thumb, index finger, and middle finger. What we're going to do, and it feels awkward at first, but it's worth the work you're going to put into it, is that you're going to put your thumb and your index finger together, and that's where holding the pick comes in. So now they're operating as one unit. So now we got to bring in the second and the third finger. And to ease into it, we're just going to alternate. So that is just the pick on that string right there, on that 4th string, and just that second finger, that middle finger right there. Just bounce that right there, alternating back and forth. And then we'll strum that C and then alternate right there. Join me there. So we got strum and then bouncing, alternating back and forth. If you can get that going nice and comfortable, then you can see how moving those notes around is just the responsibility of the fretting hand, and you can just stay nice and relaxed there with your picking hand. And speaking of staying relaxed, this is where I want to help you make sure that you're not getting what you might be having right now, which is that the popping sort of rubber band sound. What that is the result of your finger getting too far underneath the string to go here on the close-up again. So if your middle finger and your third finger, so like the second and the third finger, if they're curling under the string too much, they'll pop it. The other place where you can build up tension is if you're snapping the string too much with the pick. A lot of times that's the result of having the pick too flat along parallel to the string. We think that's how we want the pick. What we actually want is the thumb to turn down towards the floor, and that allows the pick to glide through. So that's going to help you with your picking technique in general, just for regular alternate picking, right? So you want that pick to be resting on the string so that it's very easy for it to just roll right over the string. It's a very relaxed, subtle motion. The same is true in terms of the level of pressure that you need. With these fingers right here, they're just going to very relaxed, just close in towards the fist. They're not getting underneath. You do not need to snap it like you're pulling back a bow and arrow. You're just letting those fingers come back towards your palm. So this gets us into the next way of grabbing notes when you're hybrid picking, which would be called, let's just say it's a pinch, where you're going to be grabbing them all at the same time. And this is a little bit similar to like when you're grabbing a chord, there's a keyboard there, on a piano. You can just hit the strings all together at one time. This becomes super useful when you want to grab a chunk of notes, let's say in a triad. Very accurately and clearly you can scoop out those 3 notes, which is a lot harder to do if you're trying to strum through there. And it also gives you more clarity than if you're just using your fingers. I love fingerstyle too, but when I have the pick in my hand, I can get this nice combo of grabbing that triad, and then if I want to, do things that really sound most natural using the pick. So you get that back and forth, hence the hybrid. You get the idea. All right, so let's grab just this piece of a C chord right here, and we're doing exactly that. We're just pinching all of those strings at the same time. We'll get in the close-up again here, and you see here, I'm going to be picking and squeezing the fingertips all together at the same time. They all sound about the same volume. It's not that the pick is like a lot louder. It's not that the fingers are popping a lot louder. You want to try to just dial that in. That is your wax on, wax off. If you can just very comfortably get pieces of a chord, the best part is that right there along the way, you're going to be grabbing these beautiful triads that you may have been hunting for right underneath your nose, because in case you're not aware of it, most of these chords that you know, these open chords and these bar chords, have triads just 3 strings at a time. So that right there is the top 3 strings. Let's sort of bring those in a little bit more. They're sort of going off the edge there. The top 3 strings of a C chord right there. That's a triad. And then the next 3 strings down, let's grab those, right? That's strings 2, 3, 4. It's another triad. And then the next 3 strings down, right there. Strings 3, 4, 5. That's another triad. If you're able to grab those just like that, again, just another very simple exercise. Each of those sounds exactly like a piano player being able to grab those separately, and that gives you these beautiful ways to play a chunk of a chord and then do a fill. So that right there, if I bring back in those dots we had before, okay, so again, that's that combination of alternating. That's how you get those 6. Those are what those are. Bouncing back and forth between strings there. And it makes it a lot more accurate because that finger can be resting on that string and staying ready, right? And then when you go to strum, you've got that. Okay, so again, you've got this peanut butter and jelly, you've got the back and forth. If you want the picking, it's right there for you. If you want the finger style, you can even do as you get comfortable with this, and that would just be a matter of doing the alternating versus doing the pinch. Okay, here's another technique that you're going to love. This will be the third of this introduction, and it's really close to being what the pinch is, but simply you're just going to roll the notes off. And that's kind of like what we're doing right here. So right there, I'll sort of get rid of these other notes right there. In fact, I'll get rid of all these. Let's just look at this little cluster right here. Okay, so if I play that all together as a pinch, I'm grabbing all 3 of those notes, nice and relaxed, and that's an A minor, right? A minor triad. You can see that A minor bar chord. That's the same thing we were talking about before. If you grab those 3 strings at a time, you're grabbing triads, triad, triad, triad. So right here, we're grabbing strings 2, 3, and 4, and we're pinching them all together. Beautiful. Now, to roll it, it's exactly that. It's sort of I think this comes from the banjo roll tradition. And this is where when you're hearing a nice fast, like, it's just unfurling these notes one at a time, and it's what it sounds like. Here's what's going to help you. You're going to roll your hand away, and it allows the strings, the fingers to release from the strings in a real relaxed way. Okay, let's find another jam, and we will play just as the overlay there says. Let's try, let's do this one. Great. So this chord progression here is C, G, A minor. Gotta love my handwriting, sorry. And then E minor. Okay, so we have an A minor right here. That's gonna come into play there on the 3rd chord. Check it out. Isn't that nice? You could do it right down there on that E minor. So let's just grab that chord right there. That's a C major. Right? So now you're starting to see these pieces of chords that you already know. It creates the sound of a part that really feels like it's built into the song. So that's just to show you, those are those 2 open chords that start off the progression. So this C right here, I'm just grabbing that right there. And then as I get more comfortable, grabbing these triads, right? So you have this ability to just keep spelling things out, breaking it up into smaller pieces. Whenever you want to do some picking, you can do that, right? The key is just going to be staying nice and relaxed with this picking hand so that these tones are nice and even. That's what you're going to be working on. By the way, if you want to work on this, we're doing workouts all week, just like this, guided workouts on hybrid picking. Join us. You get 2 weeks totally free in my community. Guitar workout of the day. It's exactly what it sounds like. I'm there going live on weeknights with my members, which could include you. And we do this hybrid picking. We pick different themes each week. This is great. People have been asking for this one for a while. We're doing it. So a lot of what I like to do is this. And it relies on this technique. Back and forth between picking and plucking. Guitar friend, you've done it. Great workout. Let me know what you want me to teach next. I really enjoy doing these live interactions with people. I would love to get to know you. 2 weeks totally free, guitarworkoutoftheday.com. Check it out. We're having a great time in there. The community is bumping, and hybrid picking is where it's at this week. Can't wait to see what you do. Take care. Be good to yourself. And also tapping. Just do whatever you want also. It doesn't always have to be hybrid.